Good morning, students. Today we are going to see the next topic, that is, till now we have completed general characters of bacteria, general characters of virus, then general characters of microalgae and fungi we have completed. Today we are going to see this disease causing organisms, two pathogenic organisms that cause which type of disease. We have in your syllabus you have tuberculosis, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis, as well as you have hepatitis. These two are the pathogens that are causing diseases, and what are the symptoms that are exhibited, and what is the infection, which type of infection they are causing. Everything we are going to see today. That is, today we will see only one thing, that is one disease pathogen, that is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. This Mycobacterium tuberculosis is the organism that causes TB. All of you know that it causes TB, that is tuberculosis. Now, this was first observed by a scientist named Robert Koch. Robert Koch, in some textbooks it is written as a K-O-C-H, Robert Koch. So, see here, Robert Koch is the scientist. He first observed the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is causing a type of disease which leads to coughing. And he observed this, and later on he named it as tuberculosis. Why he has named it as tuberculosis, later on we will see. Now, this Mycobacterium tuberculosis, as it is causing TB, tuberculosis, in the world, throughout the world, 3,000 billion people died because of this, were affected because of this Mycobacterium tuberculosis. I won't say they have died, only they were affected with this Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Since many years, people used to suffer with this with the infection of this pathogen Mycobacterium tuberculosis. When they were suffered with, people used to suffer with the infection of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. What they have done is, slowly they started producing a vaccine, and the drugs were produced, and those drugs were given to the patients. And slowly a combination of drugs, just like COVID, a combination of drugs were given, and slowly they came to know that one or two drugs are enough, that is no need of multi-drug. Now, for severe tuberculosis, multi-drug combination is also given, but the treatment should be done for 1 to 2 years. That is, continuously the patient is suffering with TB, he has to take medication continuously for 1 or 2 years, and then that will be subsided. If it is an initial stage, for 3 months to 6 months it is enough. But a little bit of chronic stage is there, then they have to go for the medication up to 1 to 2 years. Now, see here, this Mycobacterium, and slowly it subsided. But due to the ongoing conditions, that is, previously, before 10 years back, or before that also, people suffered with cholera, people suffered with hepatitis, people suffered with the AIDS. Because of this AIDS and HIV infection, slowly their organs start deteriorating. That is the reason it is called as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. What is that syndrome? Syndrome means a symptom. What are symptoms? That means a group of symptoms are observed. That means slowly all the organs, they will start deteriorating, and that is known as syndrome or symptom. So slowly all the organs are deteriorating along with our lungs, so that led to tuberculosis. That means in the previous days, olden days, people suffered a lot with tuberculosis, with the infection of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. But it subsided. Slowly, due to drugs, it subsided. But again it started because of these infections. That is, throughout the world, AIDS patients increased. Before 10 to 15 years back. And slowly, because of that syndrome, their lungs got deteriorated, and Mycobacterium tuberculosis, it started infecting the patients because they have become weak. So again, tuberculosis, TB patients have been, or tuberculosis cases have been observed here nowadays. Next thing. See here, this tuberculosis, Mycobacterium tuberculosis is the organism which is a gram-negative organism. See here, it is a gram-negative organism. And this organism, it can be treated with a drug. Later on I will tell you. Now, coming to the infection, how it is causing infection. How it causes infection. See here, what happens is, this will enter into the body, into a person, or it will enter into a person, human being, by entering through his nose, by droplet nuclei, or it may enter through the nose by coughing. That means a patient is coughing and his new droplet nuclei that will enter through our nose, and that will enter from nose to, it enters into our lungs, and it starts infection in the lungs. So this droplet nuclei will enter into the lungs and slowly it causes disease. What it will do in the lungs, see here, it enters into lungs and it will grow. See here, when it enters into the lungs, the organism will grow. When it starts growing, multiplying in the, or when it starts growing in the or multiplying in the lungs, slowly its number increases. When its number increases, suppose this is your mycobacterium, I draw out this for identification sake. Immediately around this microorganism, our lymphocytes, see here, our lymphocytes, that is our immune cells, and some of the connective tissue, see here, the lymphocytes and connective tissue, it surrounds this growth of the bacterial cell. See here, the mycobacterium, when it has entered into the lungs, they enter into the alveoli of lung, and when they enter into the lungs, they start multiplication and they grow in number. When they grow, immediately the lymphocytes that are nothing but our immune system, cells of immune system, all of them, they will go and surround along with the connective tissue. These lymphocytes surround the bacterial infection site. When they surround the bacterial infection site, slowly what happens is, they will have a reaction, because these are our immune cells. These immune cells start reacting with this, and that type of reaction is called as hypersensitivity. Because of this hypersensitivity, that means hyper means high, very high, maximum, high, and sensitivity means you will become very much sensitive. See here, some people, when you dust it, if you are doing a dusting of the room, you will get sneezing, coughing, and by 2 days or by next day you will get fever. Is it or not? Within 1 or 2 days you will get fever also, because you are allergic to that dust. Similarly, when the allergy increases a lot, when you see the dust also you will get sneezes. That is known as hypersensitivity. That means you are becoming very much sensitive to a particular thing. Now here the lymphocytes, these are the cells of our immune system. They are nothing but our T cells and B cells. You don't know about the T cells and B cells. You will come across them in the 5th or 6th semester. Now these lymphocytes, simply you remember that these are the cells of our immune system. Now these cells, they will react with this, and the hypersensitivity is produced. When this hypersensitivity is produced, because of that hypersensitivity, the cell where mycobacterium infection has taken place, now in this cell it starts producing hard nodules. It produces very hard nodules. When it produces hard nodules, these hard nodule-like structure is produced, and this hard nodule-like structure is known as tubercle. This hard nodule-like structure or net-like structure, it becomes very hard, and it is known as a tubercle. Just like when you are walking and fall, when a small child has fallen on a road, he will get injured here, and that injury, you will apply something, ointment or something, and pacify him. slowly he will be crying and he will pass by him. Slowly what happens? After 2 days or 3 days, it becomes hard, rough. Is it or not? It becomes rough and black, a brown color. When it becomes rough, just like that, when it is soft here, and this soft thing, it will harden to nodule-like structure, and this is known as tubercle. As it is producing tubercle-like structures, or as it is producing tubercle-like structure, this disease is named as tuberculosis. This is known as tuberculosis by Robert Koch. That means Robert Koch named it as tuberculosis disease because of the formation of tubercles, not because of the formation of tubercles, and this bacterium is also named as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Okay? Now, these tubercles are formed. Slowly when these tubercles are formed, now what happens in these tubercles, the disease stops, but bacteria is active. See here, the bacteria is active, the disease stops. That means the disease symptoms are stopped, but the bacteria will become active. When the bacteria becomes active, see here, immediately what happens? This bacteria which has become active, it becomes hard nodule or tubercle will become cheesy or cheese-like. What is the meaning of cheese-like? Just when you take milk and you add a little bit of lemon and boil it, then what happens? The milk will break. When the milk has broken, at the lower part you can see cheesy part. Just like that, the hard tubercle will turn into cheese-like form. When it becomes cheese-like, immediately this is known as caseous lesions. These are called as caseous lesions are formed from the tubercles. That means tubercles will convert into caseous lesions. And these caseous lesions, this cheese-like form, slowly it takes calcium. That means this cheese-like form, it takes calcium and it becomes calcified. That is, the caseous lesions will become calcified. They take large amount, they take calcium, and immediately this calcified thing is known as Boyne complex, or this is known as Boyne complex, and slowly it becomes Boyne. It is known as calcified caseous lesions that are calcified, they are known as Boyne complex. And this Boyne complex, when you go for an X-ray, see here, when you go for an X-ray, this is seen in the X-ray sheet. That means, see here, simply don't get confused. The bacterium enters into the lungs, it grows. When it grows, it occupies the cells of the lungs. And slowly when it occupies the cells of the lungs, it is surrounded by lymphocytes as well as your connective tissue. And this slowly along with time or slow, what happens is this will react with the lymphocytes, react with the bacterium, and the hypersensitivity reaction takes place, and slowly they will convert into hard nodule-like structures called as tubercles. So the disease is known as tuberculosis, and the bacterium is known as Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And next, this hard nodule slowly it becomes cheese-like. When hard nodule is formed, the disease symptoms are stopped, the disease stops, and the bacterium becomes active. The bacteria is still active. You cannot say it has become active. Why? Because it is active here also. So the bacteria is active, the disease stops, bacteria is active. Now this tubercle, hard tubercle, it converts into cheese-like structure, and this cheese is known as caseous lesion. And this caseous lesion, it starts absorbing the calcium and it becomes calcified, and this is known as Boyne complex. And because of the formation of, because of this Boyne complex, when a patient suffering with tuberculosis, when he has gone for chest X-ray, he will get X-ray. On that X-ray, calcium depositions can be observed, and based on the calcium depositions, the doctor will say that how much infection is there in his lungs. Okay, what is the infection rate of tuberculosis in his lungs? This is X-rays by X-rays, you can see. Next one, this Boyne complex. What it will do is, this is your test, but this is what happens is, this Boyne complex are calcified caseous vessels are Boyne complex. It becomes liquefied. It becomes a liquid like. When it becomes liquefied, immediately it enters all the cells of lung, which are air-filled. That means lung cells have air in them. All of you know that, because lungs are the organs of breathing. Is it or not? Lungs are the organs of breathing. So the cells of the lungs that are air-filled or air-filled cells of the lungs, into them the water will enter, and our lungs will become filled with water along with air. Is it okay? That means all the lung cells, they will become filled. They are filled with air along with filled with water, and they slowly, the bacteria, it will enter into all the foci of organs. That means all the distinguished cells, all the cells, it will enter into the cells of all the organs, and they will start deteriorating the body. They will enter into it starts infecting all the cells of the organs of all the cells of the organs of an individual, and slowly the disease will become chronic, or the disease will become very high. This is the infection of your Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Now coming to the symptoms. What are the symptoms? Any symptom, if you have any disease, first thing is you will get fever. Is it or not? Don't by heart the symptoms. Simply for all the diseases, what are the symptoms you write it. For tuberculosis, it is coughing, all of you know that, and you will be spitting a lot. Is it or not? So here the symptoms are fever. Next is cough. Next is your fatigue. Fatigue means you will become very lazy. You don't want to get up from the bed. You will become lazy. Third one is weight loss. Fourth one is weight loss. Your weight will be lost. You will become very lean. Next thing is this tuberculosis. You will be spitting a lot. And when you are coughing, the cough is not a dry cough. It is a wet cough, because your lungs are filled with water as well as liquefied bacterium along with your air are present. So when you cough, the respiratory tract, pulmonary tract or respiratory pulmonary tract, it is filled with water. So droplets will be coming out through your mouth, and when you are spitting a lot, in the spitting, based on the infection, based on the rate of infection, in the spitting, blood is seen. That means the sputum consists of blood. So these are the symptoms of symptoms of the tuberculosis, TB, symptoms of TB. Now coming to the diagnosis. What are the methods of diagnosis? When you go for diagnosis, simply I told you, you have to go for X-ray. First, okay? You have to go for X-ray. Second one is you have to go for sputum testing. That is spitting. When you spit, how the organism is there, and what is the infection of the organism, whether the infection is high or low or mild or it is not at all there. Second thing is, that means whenever you cough, don't think that you are a TB patient. The cough is of many types, dry cough, wet cough. If you are going into some cold climates, you will get cough. That is not your TB. The TB is, it will take a long time, then only you will get coughing. Because I told you that when air enters into your lungs, then that coughing will occur. That means you will get wet cough. Okay, don't think that when you are getting a cough, you are a TB patient. Okay, see here. Now the test is X-ray. Next one is your sputum test. The other one is your skin test. A simple skin test is done. That test is known as a Montauk test. Okay, this test is known as a Montauk test. What is this Montauk test? Why we are doing for skin test? What we have to do with skin? Why? Because see here, when the organism enters into our lungs, into our body, immediately what happens? It is attracting many number of lymphocytes. Is it or not? When it is attracting many number of lymphocytes, these are the lymphocytes are the cells of our immune system. When they are attracted, especially T cells get attracted. T cells get attracted and the T cells will surround the bacterial infection site. When the T cells are surrounding the bacterial infection site, the T cells will become sensitized. Because of T cell sensitization, it is leading to hypersensitivity reaction. Is it okay? The T cells are the lymphocytes are the T cells. Just now I told you, B cells and T cells are the cells of the immune system. T cells and B cells are the cells of our immune system. Now, the T cells get sensitized by the infection by surrounding the T cells surrounding bacterial infection, Mycobacterium tuberculosis infection, and it becomes sensitized and that leads to hypersensitivity. When it leads to hypersensitivity, the T cell is sensitized. So, this is known as cell-mediated immunity. This is known as cell-mediated immunity. That means the TB is a cell-mediated immunity in which the T cells gets sensitized. When they become sensitized, they lead to hypersensitivity, and this due to this hypersensitivity, you will be producing cough. Next, fever. Next is your sputum is coming out. You will become fatigue. Your weight will be lost. Everything, all the symptoms, that is your pulmonary, respiratory pulmonary cells, they will catch, they will store, they will get large amount of water along with liquefied bacterium with your cells, with air. See here, air filled lungs along with liquefied gaseous lessons will be observed. So, this leads to sensitization. Now, when our body is having infection, why? Because it enters into the foci of organs. If infection is more, it enters into the foci of our organs. When it has entered into the foci of our organs, now when you take, that means infection is there, then you have to give in this Montauk test. To the skin, you have to inject, see here, to the skin you have to inject a protein of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. A protein derivative of Mycobacterium tuberculosis organism is taken and it is injected here at this area, this particular area. When they inject it, they will make a round around it. See here. On the hand they will make a round and they will inject here. When they inject a protein derivative of Mycobacterium tuberculosis here, when this protein is there, enters into our body, immediately the T cells become sensitized because already they have sensitized. They got sensitized because of the infection of infection of your Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Next, what happens? These sensitized T cells immediately come to this area where we have injected the protein derivative of Mycobacterium tuberculosis because they know Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Already they got sensitized. So immediately running they will come. By runningly they will come to this particular area. Here you have injected your protein derivative of your Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Immediately the organism, the T cells come here and they will react with that Mycobacterium, protein derivative of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Immediately they will produce a rash or red coloring of your skin here. You will produce skin rash at that particular area or the red color of the skin will be, the skin turns into red color. the reddening of the skin or red color of the skin is observed in this particular area, or a rash will be observed in this round, where they have injected and they will produce a round. And this will be allowed for 48 to 72 hours, or generally for 48 hours. That is, for 2 days, they will ask you to keep it like that, so that if any reaction occurs, that reaction will be observed in that circuit. Where they have injected, there they have injected your protein derivative of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Immediately, if reddening of or if the skin rash is observed or red color of your skin is observed at that particular circle or at that particular area, then that is known as the patient. The person is a patient of tuberculosis. Is it okay? The person is suffering with tuberculosis. If red color is not observed or any skin rash is not observed because of this want of test, that means the person is not having tuberculosis. Okay? He is having simple cough and medication should be given. Now, coming to the next one, what are the drugs that should be given to the patient who is suffering with tuberculosis? The main medicine is streptomycin. The main medicine is antibiotic streptomycin. It is active against gram-negative bacteria. That too, it is active against this Mycobacterium tuberculosis, because it stops the protein synthesis of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis organism, and when protein is not synthesized, the organism becomes weak and it will die. For that reason, tuberculosis, that is, to treat tuberculosis patients, streptomycin is given since olden days. So, streptomycin is the drug that is given to the patients who are suffering with Mycobacterium tuberculosis infection or TB. Next. Rampicin is also another injective drug that is given to the, or the rampicin is also another medicine that is prescribed to the patients who are suffering with TB. Now, coming to the prevention, how to prevent it? Generally, this TB infection is observed in patients, in persons who are homeless. They are sleeping here and there. Next, who are malnourished. That means they are not taking proper balanced diet. Okay? They are homeless, malnourished. In these persons, generally, this TB infection is observed. Next thing, for prevention, good therapy is given to the patients who are suffering with TB so that you can cure them. First thing. Second one, young infants, when the child is born, within 24 hours or within 3 days of time, injection should be given, that is your BCG. This is known as a triple antigen. Triple antigen is given. That is, what is this triple vaccine? Bacillus calamitis greenia. So this BCG vaccine is given to the patient, given to the infants who are born after their birth, within 24 hours of their birth or within 3 days of their birth. This BCG injection is given to the children. This also protects them from this tuberculosis infection. Next thing, the persons who are homeless, government should take care of them, and they have to provide their living conditions should be monitored, and they should be provided with, that means for the poor people, at least a house should be there so that they can maintain sanitization, they can maintain hygienic conditions and live over there. Next thing, the nourishment should be given to the persons. That means that nowadays government is taking care of, and they will be supplying on the white ration card, they will be supplying rice, is it not, dal, oil, all these are given to the persons. That is, rice and dal are given, that is a proteinaceous food is given to the persons. So, government should supply protein food so that the malnourishment can be reduced. Okay? So, by these things you can prevent the disease. Not only that, it is not the only concern of the government. we people, what we have to do is, if we are okay with our financial thing, at least we have to donate something so that the NGOs will be organizing such type of things, and they will be providing nutritious food to the persons who are suffering with TB, and they will at least restrict the they can at least prevent this TB. That means the spreading of the TB, or they can at least protect the children from tuberculosis. So today we'll stop here, and in the next class we'll see the hepatitis. Okay, thank you students, I'll stop here. I'll take a leave.